Best choice that I ever made was when I was 19 years old. I was working construction with my dad for my dad's company, and I just walked away, just quit. And I remember he told me, it's like, you know, what are you gonna do? You know, how are you gonna survive? Because I was living on my own. I didn't have really anybody to give me money or support me or pay my rent, buy me food. And I told him, you know, I was just gonna figure it out. Just gonna, whatever I had to do, I was gonna make it work. And I ended up getting I was already kind of filming and stuff, so I started filming and making a little bit of money. It was just, did what I had to do. I was making like $800 a month, paying rent, living, eating on $800 a month, and then a little extra money here and there. So it was a grind. It was definitely a grind. But if I wouldn't have done that, if I wouldn't have walked away that day, I don't know where I'd be today. I mean, I don't want to tell anybody you should just quit your job or whatever you're doing, just quit it. But you got to have like some type of, you know, plan, some type of overall goal. You can't just quit your job today and then say, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna become a professional day trader. You know, you can't just quit your job today and say, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna go and become an opera singer. You got to have a realistic goal. You got to have a realistic idea, and you got to work towards that. Obviously, you got to put in the effort, and it's gonna be hard at first, no doubt about that. Everything you're gonna do is gonna be hard, you know, when you first start out. So have a goal. I think the best plan really is, if you're gonna do something like that, you should have a little bit of cushion, you know, have a little bit of money saved up, have that plan to be able to make money. You know, if you want to day trade and you want to quit your 9-to-5 job, well, maybe you quit your 9-to-5 job, you day trade in the morning, and then you work at night. Maybe you work afternoons, maybe you get a job at a restaurant or something and you work at night, so that way you can offset your living costs and don't put the pressure on yourself to only make money day trading. Stupidity. Stupid to a fault. Like, just making choices that most people would say that is a stupid choice. You know, that's a risky choice. So that's, you know, why are you wasting your time? Why are you doing that? And a lot of people don't see kind of what I see, obviously. You know, when I have a plan, I have an idea, you know, I'm not going to tell the world exactly what my plan is, but, you know, I've got things that I've got planned out for the next 10 years that I'm working towards with the YouTube, with the day trading. All this stuff there's plans in motion, obviously, and that's kind of what I'm working towards. I've always got little things going on behind the scenes. I'm always working on some deals, and just never stops every day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, every single day. You know, for me, there's no break, so I don't want to break. I go crazy if I take a break in the first place. So I think that's one of my greatest attributes, is that I'm reluctant to give up, or even when everything seems like I should probably give up. You know, everything's like, hey, you should probably give up. This is not going to work out. I still go for it. Yeah, there's definitely some weeks day trading. Definitely some moments, you know, some times where it's just like, why? Why am I doing this? You know, why am I trading and trying to make money, a couple $100 a day trading, and wasting, you know, 8 hours a day sitting on a computer? Or just, you know, you get in these little streaks where you just have like a couple of days, 3 or 4 red days in a row, and it's just like, even though you've had consistently green days for a while, you might be consistent green for 2 or 3 weeks, but then you get into that little slump where it's like 4 or 5 days of red days, you know, in a row, and it's hard to remember that, hey, you know, it's just part of the process. You're going to have red days. You're going to have those little slumps. You're going to get into weird little funks. You know, the market's going to do weird little things, and you just got to ride it out. You got to stay alive. You got to make sure you preserve that capital, preserve mental capital. You know, like I talked about earlier, if you go and you blow up over and over, it's just going to really destroy any type of mental capital, any type of confidence in the idea that you can make money day trading, I think, is probably the way to put it. People disagree with my trading style. A lot of people always comment on my videos about the trading, you know, like, oh, he doesn't have a strategy. You know, you have to have a strategy. He doesn't have a strategy. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, I think the strategies are there. They're in my brain, you know. Maybe I don't, like, always communicate them the best. Maybe I don't, you know, explain it the best. But to me, when I'm entering a trade or I'm exiting a trade, it makes sense to me. And at the end of the day, it's my money. It's my risk, it's my reward, I'm gonna take the trades how I want to take them. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, I can't take this trade because it's not the perfect strategy. It's not the perfect, you know, ACB strategy. It's not exactly what Tim Sykes would trade, you know. So I think a lot of people get just caught up in that idea that like you have to like take the perfect, you know, trade, or it's got to be the perfect strategy. You got to trade only that one strategy. I've been trading now for 2 years, and if I see an opportunity, I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna sit there and think about what strategy it is before I take it. So this one big game, and you got to play to win. You know, you got to play to win. You got to understand that there's always somebody smarter. There's always somebody with more money trading the same exact stock that you're trading. Just because you think like, oh, I'm gonna short this stock and it's gonna crash back down because it's got resistance and it's gonna get hammered. Just because you think that, just because you believe that, does not mean it's gonna happen. If it starts squeezing on you, you better get out, because there might be somebody out there who's got millions of dollars squeezing the stock. We've seen it happen before. We've seen people lose a lot of money because of one guy who has a lot of money squeezing everybody. So you got to understand that there's always stuff going on, especially with the low float stocks. There's a lot more going on than you think. I think people always say, you know, day trading is gambling. You know, oh, day traders are gamblers. At the end of the day, we're not gambling, we're just managing risk. If I see an opportunity, like right now, I'm long Litecoin, I'm risking 2%. I bought in near $40, my stop loss is $40, I'm risking 2% for a possible 100% move. Is that gambling? No, that's me managing risk, it's me seeing opportunities. And that applies for really any trade. Every trade you take, you need to understand that there's risk involved. You don't have to be right every single trade. I think you can be right like 61% of the time. As long as you manage your risk, you can be profitable. Maybe 51% of the time. As long as your losers are always smaller than your winners, you can be right like 50% of the time. And maybe, I think it's maybe 40%. It's some crazy number, but nobody wants to be right 40% of the time. You want to be right 100%. But ideally, you got to understand that you're not going to be right all the time, and you need to cut those losers off before they become massive. At the end of the day, it's not just about the money that you're losing, it's about the mental capital, because if you are blowing up your account consistently, if you're losing money consistently, your brain is basically just telling you that every single trade, you got to be emotional. Every single trade, all you're thinking about is like, oh, I'm gonna blow up my account again. I'm gonna lose all this money. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. And you're thinking about all this stuff going on, and you really got to cut that out. And that really comes with preserving mental capital. You know, just because you have thousands of dollars in your account doesn't mean that your brain or your emotions are ready. It doesn't mean that you can handle a big loss, or doesn't mean that you can do this, because it really just takes a toll. The more and more you trade, and the more and more that you end up, you know, taking away from that mental capital, the harder it gets, because you just become emotional with every single trade. Every single trade, you're just thinking about how you're going to lose money. And I did that for a long time. There was a couple of weeks when I talked about on YouTube where I was just, every morning I'd wake up and I would just tell myself, okay, let's go lose some money. Let's go trade, and I'm going to lose some money today. And that's the worst thing that you can do when you're trading. If you go into a trading day and all you're thinking about is you're going to lose money, you're going to lose money. It's just like an emotional thing, and then you're subconsciously going to end up losing money because you're going to buy stocks that you know you shouldn't buy just because, you know, your brain tells you, hey, you've already given up. You know, you're going into battle, you're going into war already waving the white flag, and you're going to get eaten alive. The market is not going to be nice to you just because you're sad and you're emotional that you're going to lose money today. There is no room for emotion. There's no room for, you know, a sad story. Nobody cares about your mom or your dad dying or any crap like that. At the end of the day, if you're not emotionally ready to make money, then don't do it. Don't trade that day. Walk away. Just stay away from the market. And that's really what it comes down to. Mental capital over actual physical capital. That mental capital is more powerful than money all day long. Don't trade earnings reports. Don't gamble on earnings reports, because you are gambling. If you think that you're going to buy a stock before an earnings report because you think it's going to go higher, it's going to go lower. If you think that you can predict a stock going higher after it starts crashing down, don't, because obviously these low float stocks, there's no reason that they're going to go up again. You can't say, oh, well, the stock's valued at $100, but the stock price is $2 right now. It's going to go higher. It's not. There's a reason that the stock price is low. And you holding and hoping is not going to make that stock go higher. So you got to understand that, because you got to just understand that there's no reason. Just because you're hoping and praying does not mean the stock's going to go higher. Just because you're hoping and praying doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it right, you know. So you need to, Patrick, if you listen to this, you know, 3 years ago, cut the loser off. That Sun Edison trade, don't take it. Don't take it. If a stock has rumors of going bankrupt, stay away from it. There's probably a really, really good chance that the stock is going to go bankrupt. If there are real rumors about the stock going bankrupt, well, it's probably going to go bankrupt. I think that's the way to do it. Because remember, the big banks, the big firms, the big analysts, all these people that are trading that are been doing it a lot longer than you, they know way more than you do. And don't try to fight the trend. Don't try to fight the news. If a company is going bankrupt, if it's got bad news, don't think that you're some kind of genius and you figured out the stock's going to go higher. Like, I can buy this stock even though it's crashing. I know it's going to bounce back because I did all the research. No. You are not the smartest guy in the room. I promise you. I know that. I know I'm not the smartest guy, and I've accepted that. I think that's the biggest thing. When I first started trading, I thought I could, you know, I can figure this out. I know I can buy this stock and it's going to go higher because I figured it out. I read the reports. I did this. I did that. No. Nah. It does not work like that, my friends. It does not work like that.
All right, traders, that is gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys learned something. Please leave down in the comment section below what you wish you could tell the younger you about trading. What you would not do, what you would do. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you all first thing tomorrow morning.